and welcome to GenFriends. I'm your host, Cheri Hudson Passey from Carolina Girl Genealogy. And tonight we've got Melissa Barker, our archive lady in the house. Hello, Melissa.
Hello, Cheri. So good to be here.
Very good to be here. I'm so glad you're here. And we've got Shelley Murphy, Family Tree Girl. Hey,
Hello,
Shelley.
everyone.
How are you?
Glad to be here too.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. And we've got a very special guest. We have Tyler Stahle from RootsTech. It's almost time, and I'm so excited. So I thought, oh, we need to talk to Tyler, see what's up, what's coming up with RootsTech this year. Just what? How many days?
Oh boy, I don't know. Let's see. It's the end of February, so the 26th through the 29th.
Yeah.
So basically 2 weeks.
Couple of weeks. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm really excited. I always get the days mixed up because I always come out a little early, and so I start counting the day when I'm going to fly. But so we've got great keynotes this year. We've got great classes this year. We've got the theme, the story of you, which I think is great because it's the 10-year anniversary. Talk to us for a few minutes about how you came up with that theme. That's such a great theme.
I'm glad you asked. That's a great first question too. I think so. We went with the Connect Belong theme for 2 years, and that was really powerful. So we were hesitant to change it, right? Because that was so good. And that's everything we as genealogists are about, right? Is connecting and belonging. But I think as we researched and as we looked at possible themes, it kind of became apparent that another thing that we're really good at as genealogists is looking backwards, right? And I know the stories of my ancestors really well, but I don't always do the best job recording my own story or preserving my own history for my kids and their kids, right? And so I think there's a gap in the industry that, hopefully helping all of us take a little bit more time to preserve our own stories and think about ourselves a little bit. I know we're all very selfless in the genealogy community, but there's a chance here for all of us to do a little bit better job preserving our stories. And so that was kind of the opportunity we saw. I think the response has been really exciting so far. People are really excited to see, what classes we have and keynotes we have and how we can do that. So it's going to be interesting, but we're really excited about the theme.
Oh, I am too. And I know that people could submit stories.
Yeah.
And so will they be posted somewhere? Like, it's going to be a room with the stories? What are you going to do with those stories that were submitted, that were chosen? Just curious.
So there's a lot of things we've actually been doing with some things. A lot of our speakers and presenters have submitted stories that we're sharing on the RootsTech social media channels just leading up to the event. So you can follow RootsTech on Instagram and see some of those stories, which is really cool. During the pre-show, before all the general sessions, we'll be sharing some people's stories as well on the screen, and things that they've tweeted in, or stories that they've sent in, like that as well. So there's going to be a couple different things throughout the venue at RootsTech. One of the things I'm really excited about is we'll have a big wall covered in books, and there'll be markers there, and we just invite everyone to come up and write a little bit about their own story.
Oh, I love that.
And kind of just make a cool mural by the end of the conference. It'll be really cool.
I'll have to get a before and after photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, because it'll be full. It'll be full of stories.
The other cool thing we're doing at RootsTech this year to help people record their stories is in the Expo Hall, we have a big, it's not really a booth, but a big open space where we'll have a cameraman and a backdrop, and anyone is invited to just walk by and record their story on video and have it sent to them a few days later after the event ends, so that they have their story recorded on video for their use anytime they want.
Oh, I love that too. That's going to be very well used. There's going to be a long line of people trying to get to that.
I hope so. It will be probably pretty busy.
I really think it will be. I'll have to get there quickly. Now that we know, anybody watching this, make that one of your.
It's going to be a line.
Yeah, make that one of your first stops, the Expo Hall, and get it done. Grab a couple of friends. It'd be really fun to grab some friends that it's been 10 years. RootsTech has been 10 years, so grab some friends and go sit down and record some of your memories of the 10 years of the times that you've gone to RootsTech. That would be so much fun.
Well, the connections. Yeah. That's the first time I met a cousin who was at RootsTech.
Really?
We had known each other for 15 years, only through email. Never really saw a picture of her until about, a year before I went to RootsTech. So I met her and her husband out there, and they live out there. And it was like, okay, 15 years and we've never met face to face, and we were related.
Isn't
you
that
know,
crazy?
so that was amazing. And we met in the hall with all the vendors and everything, and where the food was at. So another exciting thing was, you know, going in the hall with all the vendors. That's
Right.
my highlight.
That is so awesome.
Well, I really like the theme this year because I teach a genealogy class here at our local library, and I'm always telling my students that you need to write your story now. And I add, because you do not want your children or your grandchildren to write your story, because there's no telling what they'll come up with. So you need to write your story.
I'm glad you're pushing that message. That's so important.
Yeah, that's important.
Now, Melissa,
Yes.
you haven't been able to get to RootsTech, so you're part of the hashtag not at RootsTech. Why don't you tell everybody how that works, and so those people that don't get to go, how they can still participate?
They can still participate, and it's on Twitter, and it's hashtag not at RootsTech. And there is a very, very hardcore following that from the minute that RootsTech starts, and even before, because we're already tweeting now about it. And if you use the hashtag, then it's where everybody can follow and they can keep up. But we will be tweeting up to the event, and then we really turn on the juice when RootsTech starts, and we watch the virtual presentations, the free ones, and we are talking about it. We're talking about what's going on, and we also talk about our friends like Cheri or other people that are there, and we see their post, and we will talk about what they're seeing and what they're doing. So anything RootsTech, we talk about it, and it's at hashtag not at RootsTech.
Yeah. And the live streaming, I've seen where you guys, when that was going on,
last year, I think
was the was
that the first year last year?
Yeah. So that gets pushed out,
and that got the Twitter community actually on fire. When we started seeing our tweets actually at RootsTech, we really felt like we were part of RootsTech. And that really was very special for all of us.
Yeah, well, I know that at some of the live streams at the beginning, they were saying, and also not at RootsTech, use that hashtag and we'll show some of your tweets up on the board as well. And so that was really cool. We really, all of us appreciate that, because we've all got friends that we know can't be there, like Melissa. And so helps them be a part. Helps them be a part. Tyler, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
The keynote speakers are always, you know, you start getting this list of people, and I had to be honest, some years they're people I don't know a lot about, and so I have to research them, but they always end up being so motivating and just get you going for the day. And I know some people are like, oh, you know, why do they have celebrities, and you know, they don't know anything about genealogy. Yeah, they do. They've got stories, they've got family, they've got their own things to share. And so by the time you come out of there, you are ready for the day. You are so pumped up. And I know that's part of the reason, but there's got to be this long process of trying to find people that are available. How do y'all figure out who you want to be a keynote?
That is such a good question, actually. And you're right, it is a process. It's actually one of the hardest parts of
I can imagine.
Like, we have a pretty long list, and give credit to Jen and Kara, who kind of manage this for us on the RootsTech team, but they have a pretty long list of names that, you know, we think would be good on stage, you know, because like you say, we want someone that, maybe they're not a professional genealogist, but they do have an awesome family story to tell, right? And that's almost everybody, really. But if they have a message about connection and family and discovery, you know, that's something we want to hear. I think Saru Brierley was an awesome example of that last year.
Yes.
You know, maybe a lot of people had heard of him, but his story of getting back to his homeland is so relevant to us.
The first thing I did was watch the movie, so and then I couldn't wait to hear him talk.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't stop crying after I watched the movie, right? So,
I know.
It was such, but you're right. So we have a long list. We're always kind of scouring it, and then we work with someone in New York who has, you know, contacts with a lot of these people and can tell us if they're available or if not. And so a lot of the times that's really what it comes down to is, you know, almost everyone we reach out to is interested in RootsTech. That's changed over the last 5 years. You know, 5 years ago, people didn't even know what RootsTech was.
Right.
But now almost any celebrity we reach out to is interested. And then it just comes down to a matter of availability. You know, are they shooting a movie at the time, or are they speaking somewhere else or performing somewhere else? And so it's cool to see how that's changed. And this year it just really worked out well. Emmett's been on our list for a long time.
Oh gosh,
Leanne
yeah.
Toomey's been on our list for at
Great.
least 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
So it just worked out well that they were available this year, and it's an awesome lineup. We're really excited.
Yeah.
Were you involved when Paula Madison was on there?
Yes.
Oh,
That was my first year at RootsTech.
really?
That was my first year on the team.
That was awesome.
Wasn't her
That's
story
awesome.
so cool?
Were you there for that one, Cheri?
I wasn't there for that one, unfortunately. I
goodness.
wish I could say I'd been there for all 10 years, but I haven't. 10 years. Can you believe it's been 10 years?
I can't. No, like I said, this will be my 5th or 6th.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's been 10 years. Jen, my boss, has been here for 7 of them. So it's fun. It's cool to see, it's not us who puts it on. There's a lot of people before us that did a great job getting the event off the ground, and now it's fun to see it take off. But it's awesome just to see the whole genealogy community. We're talking that it's 10 years of RootsTech, but really we're trying not to focus on RootsTech. We're trying to focus on the community.
Yeah.
And so you'll see that at RootsTech. You'll see that we're highlighting ancestry, and we're highlighting all of our partners and my heritage. And we're not trying to talk about RootsTech, but we're trying to talk about how far the industry's come in 10 years, which is amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Do the celebrities, once they come and they tell their story and they experience the genealogy community, can you tell that they leave with a better appreciation or just an awe of what they experienced? And do many of them maybe go on to do their genealogy or anything like that? Do you know?
That is such a good question. Yes, actually, almost all of them that I'm aware of, have left definitely with a renewed sense of, I want to know more.
Yeah.
And for almost all of them, we provide them, Family Search does a lot of research on their lines and provides them a nice book of the findings. And so a lot of them, I think it was Natalia a couple of years ago, La Forcade, she wouldn't even let her agent hold the book as they were leaving. Usually he's like, I'll take it, I'll put it in your suitcase, you got to get on to LA for your next show. But she wouldn't let go of it. She wanted to read it on the plane. And so she's just one example of, almost all of them saying, thank you for this. Buddy Velastro, the cake boss.
Oh,
He
yeah.
sent us a video the other day, congratulating RootsTech on 10 years. And in his video, he says, thank you for the information you gave me. I still am learning from it and looking at it, and it's blessed his family too. So it is cool to see the long-term effects that can have on these people.
LeVar Burton was another one. I don't think there was a dry eye in the hall.
No.
When Tom, I'm going to say Tom missing with him per se, but walking him through after, what was it, the 30-year anniversary of Roots or something like that. Yeah. And that was amazing. I mean, when they scanned through the crowd, folks were, it wasn't just tear dropping. People were crying. They were bawling, That was another good one. The Property Brothers. I thought that was insane, just hilarious, but they were so good and fun. The Pioneer lady, she was good too. Yeah.
Hey, I gotta mention Donnie twice.
Donnie, yes.
Waiting to hear about
this hand. Remember, he touched this hand in London.
Yeah, Cheri is his official stalker, I think.
You got the t-shirt on and everything.
I did.
But they do. And I have a question. When you're coming up, like you said, about the themes or looking for the keynotes, do they solicit to others or other groups? Do they check with genealogists and I don't know, I'm asking, is there I'm sure they have a process, and I've met Tara a couple times, just from the interaction of RootsTech. But what is their process? Because I mean, it's probably more timing than anything, and I'm sure they have a list, like you said, but just the process, is it always towards family or something like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. It is, and there's a lot more people involved, as you mentioned, than just the RootsTech team, obviously. We definitely try to involve the genealogists, our expert team at Family Search, our content strategists, our researchers. because whoever we do select, they're the ones who do the work on the lines, and they need as much time as they can to get started, especially, if there's very little information to start with. So it's a team effort. Obviously, we're trying to find whoever has good stories for the theme. That's a big thing that we look for. Story of you, that's why we think Emmett Smith will be really good, as well as Leanne Toohey, Steve Rockwood as well. But
he's always so good.
He is.
Yeah, Steve's always great. So whoever can tie to the theme, who has a good family story, and then obviously we work, with a PR team of Family Search to make sure it's the right image for the brand and everything as well. So there's a lot that goes into it.
Oh, sure. Now, Tyler, you mentioned the team. I don't think people understand you've got a very small team. When you think about how big RootsTech is, tell everybody how many people are on your team that plan RootsTech.
Yeah, that's it. So Family Search is obviously a pretty large organization.
But I mean,
the RootsTech team is 9 people.
9
people.
Can you guys believe 9 people?
No.
Yeah.
No, I think it's good, because if you have it too big, it's not as much control and staying organized and timely. Yeah. So, I was going to guesstimate 10, 12.
Yeah.
Tyler's probably like, I wish it was like 20.
Well, but, they're doing this full time, I'm assuming. And so that makes a difference too. This is definitely not a planning organization part-time that happens with the organization. So
it's cool to see the whole department. When RootsTech gets close, everyone stops their day job and really jumps in. So it's cool to see, over 400 Family Search employees just jump in and help wherever is needed. And so, there's 9 of us on the RootsTech team, but it really is a department-wide effort, and that's what's really cool.
Now, I know that the Salt Palace, where RootsTech is held every year, is going under a little bit of construction.
Oh boy!
How is that going to affect? Because I know people are always concerned about crowds and sizes, and I tell people all the time that some of those early problems that we had a few years ago, not early, it was a growth problem, have been dealt with.
I'm glad you brought that up, and we are trying to address that in some of our communications that are going to go out here in the next few weeks as people get ready. But the Salt Palace, the South Foyer, where registration used to be a couple of years ago, if you remember that area, right outside of main stage, that area is basically completely gone. They're building a new hotel right there. It'll be a beautiful hotel. I think 27.
Attached?
Yeah.
What was that?
Will it be attached?
Yes. Yeah. Right attached and above the Salt Palace.
Well, that's where you want to stay.
Yeah.
I mean, come down the elevator.
It'd be right there. Yeah.
Right there on main stage.
Oh my
exactly.
gosh.
So it's going to be beautiful, but you're right. The next 3 years is going to be quite a lot of construction in that South Foyer. So this year there's a wall being built, so you won't see anything. Right. It shouldn't affect the sound too much, but the one thing it does hurt is it takes out those bathrooms that were there in the South Foyer.
Right.
And that's unfortunate because those were really, a well-trafficked area. So we're doing our best, to work with the Salt Palace. They'll bring in some nice portable's the wrong word, but some nice bathrooms that are they're not portable bathrooms, but they are
not porta potties.
Right, but they're nice bathrooms. They're heated.
They're in the same family.
It's not ideal, but they will bring those in for the South Foyer to still have some really good options and facilities there. And then really that's the only area that's affected with the construction this year. So I think if we can just get past the bathroom issue, it should be a really good experience.
I think the maneuverability, and I probably didn't say that correct, has always been what's kind of made it easier for me. Little disability type thing. And I think you guys have done for as big as that place is, I think it's well organized, I guess that's a right word. Because even though we got thousands of people there, not hundreds, there's thousands of people that are moving. I think everybody's pretty well clear where they can go, where they don't go, or, you know, where those bathrooms are at. Because on every floor, once you hit up, you know, you can find the bathrooms, and the signage has always been good. And that's, you know, my experience being there. And it's just big. It's the Salt Palace is just big. I don't even know what else to say. Just big.
It
you
is
know.
big.
Yeah. So the other question I had regarding the themes and things was also like the main stage, not the main stage. There's a stage in the vendor hall exhibit.
The demo theater.
And so is that just a whole nother team that's incorporating that also, or because it looks like everything kind of coordinates somewhat? And
the demo theater. You mean the demo theater? Is that what you're talking about?
There's a stage that's in there by the vendors.
Yeah.
And that one right by, not far from the food, you know, where all
that's the demo. Yeah, that's the demo theater. Yeah.
The demo theater.
Yeah.
And I just wondered if the same team that's doing a whole bunch of work, are they also the ones that are on that, or is that a separate team or group or person that's covering just that?
Oh, that's a good
what
question.
Happens there?
It's a little bit of a different team. We work with a few other people in Family Search to help coordinate all of that. And what that is it's a stage where any of our exhibitors or sponsors can sign up for 15-minute lectures on the stage there and demos. And so, that's kind of handled by a different team for us and working with our sponsors.
Because it's nice when you go that route, that for people that haven't been there, and maybe they can't do a whole lot of walking, but they can make it into that area, and you're close to the vendors, but you're able to sit down. It could be a little entertainment that could be there. It could be a talk, you know, and things like that. So I think for people that have not experienced RootsTech, that they don't have to just get into the other sessions, because they could, you know, definitely look at the program. Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to bring up was RootsTech has something else unique that they do, and that's that you cater so much to the youth. You will have, you know, you had an evening this year, you know, with entertainment for the youth, you know, and we're talking, you know, little kids to up to their mid-20s. Anybody can be in there, and I just think that's wonderful, because we got to get them while they're young.
Well, you got to get them hooked. Yeah, definitely.
That's totally, and that's something new we're doing again this year. So Wednesday night at RootsTech, we've invited a lot of youth to come. So 12 or 11 to 18-year-olds, and we're going to do a lot of fun games and activities throughout the Salt Palace for them. Open the Expo Hall to them as well, so they can come see some fun.
That's awesome.
And then the Friday night of RootsTech, we're inviting, a little bit older group. We're calling them young adults, kind of that 18, to 35-year-old range. And again, same kind of thing. They're invited to come see Ryan Hamilton, the comedian who's there that night. And then, also participate in some family history games and things throughout the venue. So we're definitely trying to engage a new, younger audience. And, they're the genealogists of tomorrow. And so
And we do a lot of talking about how we're going to get that group in. And so events like this really, really help. And I think something like that would be good to have around the country. We as, as in our genealogy societies and things like that need to take some ideas from RootsTech and how y'all deal with bringing in the youth. I think it'd be very helpful.
I like the escape room aspect.
Oh, yeah.
Because the kids, of course, they're going to always solve it way before the adults do. And I actually just went to a couple of them just recently, and it was amazing, but it was that millennial age that were in there. And then we teamed up with some millennials, and I was like, I just need to sit down. Just let them go at it, I'm not thinking as fast as they were, but it was challenging, and it made you think, which I think opens a whole nother way of getting them interested in it, being able to solve things. So
The escape room's fun. That's.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
you've
made
been
it
through
once
one
this year,
too?
actually,
Yeah,
so
they did one
I think
last
it's a little
year. Yeah.
harder.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't
It was
know
fun.
that.
And that, there were a lot of people there. I was so excited to see that, as all of us old people were packing it in for the day. All the youth were coming in, and there was a lot of them there. So I appreciate that, the fact that you do bring the youth in. I think that's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Yeah, thanks.
Do we have any numbers? Probably not yet. We probably won't really know how many people you're estimating will be there until probably the end, because people will just come.
Yeah, they're definitely, we definitely see in these next 2 weeks, that's when a lot of registrations do happen, especially for local audiences who are, on the fence about coming.
Yeah.
But, all numbers so far indicate that it's going to be, if not our biggest, really close to the biggest RootsTech there has been. So
It's wonderful. It just grows every year, and I think that's
just crazy.
You're doing something right.
So I have a question.
Okay.
Don't panic.
No, go ahead.
London, for those of the folks that are watching this, last year you did RootsTech London, and Cheri, you went. How did it go? I only caught through
Donnie
Twitter.
was there. It was wonderful.
Donnie was there.
Through Twitter and all of that, some live streaming type stuff. But
fabulous.
numbers, how was the numbers compared to Salt Lake City?
That's a great question. It was really, really, better than we thought it would be. So you look at the first couple of years in Salt Lake, we had close to about, some numbers kind of varies depending on who you ask, but anywhere between about 1,600 and 2,000 your first year here in Salt Lake. In London, in terms of just RootsTech attendees, close to 5,000 in the first year.
Wow.
That's wonderful.
Awesome. And then there was an additional 5,000 that came on Saturday for the free day, free family experiences. And so in total, about 10,000 unique people walked through the Excel there in London. And it, like I said, doubled what we did here in Salt Lake. So we were definitely encouraged by the early growth there in London.
And we even had Comic-Con going on with us, so we maybe have got some converts from Comic-Con to come on over.
Hey, we'll take them any way we can get them.
That's right. Spider-Man, Batman, come on over.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll do your family.
They have a story to tell too.
They have a story to tell too.
Too funny.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, does anybody else have any last questions for Tyler? And Tyler, is there anything that we haven't asked or we haven't talked about that you want to say? Shelley first, and then we'll let Tyler end.
What's the biggest surprise we should expect? Can you tell us?
Oh, yes.
You're allowed to tell us?
Yes, okay.
Can you tell us?
It's just us.
Just us.
Yeah.
No one else is listening.
Of course, just for you guys. I have something good. So, the biggest surprise. So on Wednesday, the first day of RootsTech, during the general session at 4:30 Mountain Time, Steve Rockwood will be the keynote speaker. Right. But it's also a celebration of the industry over the last 10 years. Yeah. And there's some really cool things we're planning for that session that's different than any other RootsTech session. And there's also going to be some fun giveaways and prizes and things happening for people in the audience. And we'll be doing some remote, people who are watching remotely giveaways as well in that session and throughout the conference. So I think though, if you're going to watch any session live, the Wednesday afternoon one is going to be different than anything you've ever seen.
All right, you heard it first here.
You heard it here.
And I want to say before we go that if whoever is listening to this recording, if you cannot go to RootsTech, get on Twitter and be a not at RootsTech tweeter. And follow us, because we're going to be telling you all about it, and we're huge fans.
Yeah, and get on and watch those live streams. That's
they're worth it.
Yep. And I come home then and I rewatch them, because you miss some things as you're running around. You can't take every class, you can't do everything, and so it's wonderful to have those opportunities to be able to have something that I can look at, again when I get home. So whether you're going or not going, watch those live streams, and don't forget to share your experiences on social media, whether you're there or not. So
totally.
Anybody got anything else?
No, only the vendors. I salute them. They come in, they bring their things, the ideas, the items, the, you know, the master charts. What's the charts? The chart people
so
printing.
many. Yeah, there's so many.
It's just,
and you know, you've got all these wonderful classes that you can go to.
the classes that are there.
Also, there's so much to do, so little time.
Yeah.
But it's a wonderful experience. And like Shelley said, you never know who you're going to sit next to or meet in the vendor hall. It's called Genealogy Serendipity, and it happens. It happens. So
the pins was cute. Remember the pins that you had to match up with the ancestors? That was great.
That was great. So there's always something fun going on. There's always people to talk to. You're not going to feel alone. You can't feel alone in that in that place.
Right.
And if you do, just talk to whoever's sitting next to you, and you will strike up a conversation. And maybe, like I have with a few people, I know lifelong friends just from meeting people at RootsTech. So
you might meet relatives.
Yeah, even better, relatives. Absolutely. So I encourage you to get registered, and if you can't come, then watch that live stream and be not at RootsTech with Melissa and keep your voice heard about what's going on. So thanks everybody for being here, and especially you, Tyler. We appreciate you taking your time out because you know you're busy now. You need to get back to planning. Get back to setting things up. And we will see you soon at RootsTech. I can't even say it. RootsTech 2020 in Salt Lake City. Thanks so much for being with us. And we will see you guys next time on GenFriends. Bye, everybody.